Before we go any further, I want to tell a dumb story that pertains to these flowers. Back in my Neo-Seeker days, I recall there being this thread that was basically just a whole lot of self-imposed challenges. People were presenting challenges that they've completed themselves so that other people could try them as well. And it was stuff like, you know, in this mission of Mario 64, try to beat it without jumping and stuff like that. And so, my self-imposed challenge that I presented to people was very oddly specific, because it was basically just use this jump to get up the flowers in this section of Wario World. And that was it. I think it would be a much more challenging challenge if you had to do it without actually moving the control stick, which might be possible. I feel like there's probably an angle in which that would work, but I'm not going to mess with that now. If you want to try it, then go ahead. But that was my dumb Neo-Seeker story, just to get that out of the way. Yeah. I like the aesthetic of this level. I generally like Beanstalk level aesthetics. Not that I know of very many other ones, but I know of the Beanstalk Way in Kirby Air Ride. I always thought that was a really pretty stage. Main thing that I don't like about this stage, aside from just the ugly monkey designs, or monkey wolves, or whatever you want to call these, and then later on they're like gorilla bears, which would seem right at home in Avatar: The Last Airbender. Yeah, I don't like these spinny things, because there are so many of them, and they just kind of slow the level to a halt every single time. I've been thinking about it. That's the reason that I don't mind the mini-bosses in Super Mario Sunshine, but I do mind the repeated mini-bosses in this game. It's because they disrupt the pacing. When in Super Mario Sunshine, I feel like the repeated boss fights are kind of part of the pacing. If that makes any sense. That's the best way that I could think to describe it. Tree Freaks. Good name. Oh yeah, whenever I was replaying through the game to... like, because I had to re-record the second half of this game, but I had already saved my progress, I had to play through the first half again to get to this. To get on this save file, which is why my coin count is probably different, but I realized from reading one of the Spriteling's texts that the gates that you have to break in Wonky Circus are called Electric Clown Fences, which is just an excellent name. That should be the name of an electric band, clearly. No, sorry, I have congestion. This is nothing new, though. I always have congestion. Speaking of Beanstalk-themed levels, I remember at one point I had this dream, because every so often I just have dreams that are levels from video games. Not video games that exist, but every time I dream, it seems like it's a dream about a video game that I could make, or a level in a video game that I could make. And one of them was sort of this beanstalk dome. It was like a dome made of beanstalks, and inside it there was some nice water, there were some mushrooms you could bounce on, and stuff like that. I have this very vivid picture in my head of what it looked like, and maybe one day I will make it happen. I don't know if it's really necessary to make it happen. It's one of those cases where I don't have any other ideas besides just the general image of it, but it could work if I tried hard enough. I love these leaves. These leaves, they look so thin, but they bounce in such a... I don't know, I love the bounce. It is such a good bounce. As much as I dislike this level, there's also a lot of stuff that I do appreciate about it, like these stingrays that sort of look like shovels. Hitting them is satisfying. I don't know why. Or ground pounding them, I guess, is what you're supposed to do. I wonder if they were intended to be used as shovels in any way, or if that's just part of their design, just because it looks nice. Because there are some shovel enemies later on that do have a purpose with their design. That'll be in the last stage. Then we have similar enemies in this stage. Okay. Please open up, flower, so that I may explode your guts. That didn't make any sense. I don't like these tree enemies. They're not the worst thing in the world, but they are just kind of irritating to deal with. You can't get past them in any form. There's sort of an invisible barrier around them, so you have to fight them, and there's just kind of a lot to them, and everything can go wrong. I'm willing to bet that everything could go wrong! These are the gorilla bears I was talking about. That's totally what they look like. There is no other explanation for what they could be. Actually, I'm sure there are tons and tons of explanations for what they could be, but none that I know of. Now see, this level is tricky, because you have to move. It is not that complicated. Even still, I think this... You would be amazed by how natural it is to move around on this glue globe. It seems like it would be pretty difficult to program that in a way that feels natural, but it definitely feels natural in this game. On a random note, this isn't exactly relevant to anything that's going on at this current moment, but I've noticed that these videos have been pretty consistent in length for the most part. It seems like they range around 22 minutes or so, roughly. It's not a completely exact, consistent degree, but for the most part they're about the same length, and that means the levels are all about the same length. And I kind of wonder how game developers determine how long something is going to take in terms of just how it times out for players. Because I don't know if it's some sort of special calculation, or if they just feel it out. I'm sure it depends. Yeah, this one is a Zelda puzzle, sort of. You have to use bombs. You have to think with bombs. It's good music, too. The whole game has good music. Alright, another... I'm gonna start calling these trapdoors, because that's what they are. This is gonna be the... I think it's supposed to be an iron trapdoor, or trapdoor. Not a trapped door. It is not a door in one of the Trapped series games. I don't know which Trapped series I mean. I don't know if I'm referring to the point-and-click series that was Retsuprade, one that I remember playing from a long time ago, or if it was the Zelda-like Trapped game series, which I like a lot better. Both Flash game series. Is there any way I can avoid this? Probably not. I think it's a battle arena. Well, okay, I can avoid it. I just don't know if I'm missing anything by doing this. I'm just gonna hope I don't. Yeah, right there, another battle arena thing. Unless it's one of the, it might be one of those stupid crystal mini-boss guys. No idea for sure. So yeah, I was talking about these shovel enemies. This is obviously not a shovel, this is a magnet enemy, but they function the same way. Instead of... Like in this case, you throw the magnets at an iron wall and it sticks. In the case of the last level, they're shovel enemies that you throw at a dirt wall and they stick. Functionally the same thing. I guess I have sort of a story to tell with those. Not really a great story, but in my last year of high school, which for me was all just exclusively online classes. Oh, shoot. We've got another Majora's Mask Stone Tower puzzle here. If anyone knows what I'm talking about with that. Like right before you enter the Stone Tower Temple. There's these... You have to hit a bunch of switches and make the platforms move the right way. What was I talking about? Why does my brain just poop all over the place? Poops all over my pants. Oh yeah, the magnets. Thank you. Thank you for reminding me, Spriteling. You did a good thing today. You get a raise. Just kidding. I'm not going to give you any of my money. Thinking just in terms of what Wario might say. I don't know what Mario might say. Mario's a bit more unusual with his... Like, I don't know what to make of Mario. He's kind of a mystery in his personality at times. Because sometimes he is a huge jerk, and then sometimes he is not. Anyway. I just remember in my high school online classes, I had one class that was on game design, which was an extremely easy class because part of it was like video game history, and I already knew all of the history, and part of it was just really basic elements of video game design, like, are video games supposed to generally get harder as they progress? Obviously, the answer is yes. In most cases, that's the idea, is that you're presented with a challenge and then you are presented with harder challenges. I really wish that I could hit this switch. We're not seeing it on screen, so I'm not sure why I'm saying this switch. It's more like that switch, but I'll get to it eventually. And the final project for that was to design at least the first level of a video game. We were supposed to show, like, a character sheet that indicates, like... Okay, I think I know how I did this before. It's got a couple of these guys. Throw that one. And throw this one. That works out. Okay. So I was designing this hypothetical video game that might exist, and I called it A-Lure, which was spelled A, and then plus, and then lure. But I think the A had a minus sign in it, so it was supposed to look like the title was partly a magnet. Sort of. I think the U was probably also just a horseshoe magnet. And the idea was that you're this space guy who is protecting the world from this huge magnet that's supposed to be breaking everything apart. And your job is to use, like, this magnet grappling hook thing to swing through a whole bunch of levels and save the day. And it was both this game and Yoshi's Island DS because of, hey, the baby Wario levels. It's relevant to Wario. The baby Wario levels in that game had to do with magnets, and I think I was inspired by both that and this for the design that I did of that one level. I also liked my space guy design. My spaceman, because he had a helmet, but you couldn't actually see the face below the helmet. You could just see, like, cartoony eyes. So it was almost like the helmet was his head. Almost, but not quite. Come on now. Where are you, final box? Magnets are just cool in general. I really feel like there are more cliffside things to do, but I don't know what those are. Maybe there's not. Maybe I should just stop looking. Alright. It is spring once more. Because we spring... Nope, no, these rams. Why have I learned nothing from automobile commercials? Why can't I dodge ram? Let's just ignore anything that I thought would be over there and fight this tree monster once again. Yeah, this mini-boss thing, this enemy, this, I don't know what you'd call it, is just a hassle. Can I please go back home? Oh right, I don't have a home, because it was converted into American dollars. It's so easy to get hurt by little things that you wouldn't really... Well, it's obvious why it hurts you, but it also feels like it shouldn't somehow. Like it's a little bit more finicky than fettuccine. More finicky than fettuccine. That is my new catchphrase of the ages. No. Okay. Something tells me this is going to be that stupid crystal boss, and I'm not going to have any... Oh, okay. Battle Arena. That's okay. I like these better. Even though they last longer, I'm pretty sure. I just like them better because there's more to do. Like it's more constant. These don't really disrupt the pace of the game as much to me, even though they serve no purpose. Except to give you coins. Which, as established, the coins are somewhat useful, but not, like, super useful. They would be more useful if you didn't have as many of them. Which, that seems counterintuitive, but they just seem like there's less value to individual ones, I guess. And another one bites the must. I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know, maybe this isn't my least favorite level. I still don't love it, but I can't decide if the tree enemies or the stupid skeleton hand enemies from that haunted level are worse. Oh. This... okay. I have not activated the... Yeah, it goes right from a battle arena thing to a crystal mini-boss thing. So, I think I just narrowly avoided that. Thank goodness. I wasn't even thinking about that. Okay. Because of that cheap move, this might be my least favorite level. But at least I avoided it that time. I wish that I didn't have congestion all the time. Oh, why am I back here? That's dumb. I'm gonna meet you back where I was. Here's a game over to tide you over until then. Alright, I'm back where I was. It wasn't really that far, but it was far enough to be slightly annoying. Now, while I'm at a loss for things to say, I suppose I can go into some of those Wario World stories that I was going to talk about, because I had a couple more in mind. One of them would simply be... oh, man, okay. I remember having a lot of trouble with this trapdoor level. This iron trapdoor level. Mostly because I got the timing on this particular jump right here wrong every single time. The stupid slice of lime platform. That's what the top looks like to me. It looks like the top is just a slice of lime, except it's square. You know, like a cube watermelon? This is a cube lime. And it is not sublime. Okay, I got it right that time. Go! No! Go! This is giving me bad flashbacks to one of my least favorite parts of The End Is Nigh. Playing through that, there was this optional area where you had to always, like, there were spikes that jutted out of the ground every second or so, and you always had to be sure that you were jumping at the exact right time that you wouldn't be hit by the spikes. Which I think is also something that 1001 Spikes does on a frequent basis. That game. Or those games. I will probably never play them because they just don't seem like my style. But, yeah, one of my stories, or actually I have a couple of stories, little stories, related to my hopes that this game would have a sequel, which I don't think it's going to. I don't think this game is going to ever have a sequel, which would be, like, that's sad to me, because I feel like there's still a whole lot that this, what's the word for it? Like, this engine could do. I have my suspicions, though, at this point, that this game was made with the same engine as Luigi's Mansion, because there are just an awful lot of weird similarities between the two games, even though they are entirely different games. Sort of like how Star Fox 64 and Ocarina of Time were made with the same engine, but... yeah, that is neither here nor there. I remember hoping that this game would have a sequel. I kept making, like... I just kept making comments about why I wanted the game to have a sequel, and I remember in elementary school, at one point I made this poster out of colored pencils for a Wario World 2 that I just really wanted to exist. I don't think I'm supposed to be over here yet. I think this is actually progress. That was pretty much the extent of that story. There wasn't really anything more to it. But Another relevant thing to my hopes for a Wario World 2 would be whenever I was on the VGDC forums, there was this one random user who joined who was very cocky about being able to make just about anything. He never showed any evidence of being able to do anything grand. He just kind of said, I'm super good at everything. I remember this thread where he was saying, hey, give me requests for things that you want me to do, and then I will do them. And, of course, since nobody believed this guy could do anything that he was saying that he wanted to do, everyone gave him impossible requests. Although, well, I don't know if everyone gave him impossible requests. I think some people gave him rather doable requests that he still didn't do. But my suggestion was basically, hey, I want you to make a full Wario World 2. I want it to be playable on the GameCube. I don't want it to have any lag, and I want it to be Game of the Year. Maybe not, I don't think I actually said that, but I think I wanted it to be like Player's Choice or something. I don't remember my exact post, but it was good. Little did I know that earlier in the thread, someone else already posted a much more amazing post, which I really wish that I could remember the wording on it because it made me laugh to tears, almost. But it was something like, hey, I want you to take this dumb animation that I made once and turn it into a feature-length movie, and I want there to be an audiobook version that is read by Oprah. That's the part that sticks out to me the most, from what I can remember. That is just, it's excellent. There's the red one. Oh, man. Okay, I can't avoid this, because there was a thing right there that I had to collect. That's dumb. I don't like that at all. Another battle arena. Okay. Well, we're in it for the long haul. We're in it for the long hallway. Have I ever mentioned that before? How in the first grade I wrote this, not exactly a poem, it was just a sentence that my first grade teacher really, really liked. And she like hung it on the blackboard or whatever it was for a while. And I don't remember the exact wording, but it was something like, I just know that it ended with a long hallway of thoughts. Something like my dreams are lost in a long hallway of thoughts, except I don't think it was as poetic as that even. But even still, like I said, my teacher really liked it. I guess she thought it was very impressive for a first grader's writing. Oh, there was more to this dodge ram section. I knew it, I knew there would be. I just didn't see this part. Didn't see these glue globes here. Curse you, glue globes. I thought you were my friends. Glue globes can't be friends. Well, there's the blue treasure chest. There's the pink one, which happens to give us a Game Boy Advance. It's not like we can play it. I know that there are Game Boy Advance related things that you can do with this game. I think it's something like if you connect your Game Boy Advance to the GameCube and play this game and open up a certain thing that's near the big treasure chest in the hub world, it connects you to basically just WarioWare minigames, and I think that's it. I don't think there's anything more special that happens besides it gives you some WarioWare minigames, and you could play them before the actual game came out. An interesting feature to include, even though it doesn't really serve a purpose. Have I never actually broken this block? Have I always just assumed that I did? Yeah, okay. I guess I always thought that that would be progress, and so I never went down here and actually did what I was supposed to do here. That's a little bit dumb. Gonna completely, ignore that spinny flower, because I don't need it. Man, this level could have gone by quite a bit faster if I was more knowledgeable of where everything was, but you win some, you lose some, you booze some. Now we're gonna have that heart beep again. Not the worst heartbeat in the world, but still, the fact that it's there is, it makes my heart smoke. No. Smoke is my go-to word whenever I can't think of anything else to say. Sometimes. Sometimes it's fetus. Sometimes it's penis. Both of those are very similar words. Something about that, I don't know, combination of vowel sounds is amusing to me. Also beepus, which somehow came to be from the word Pepsi. Already got that, and I got that, and that's everything, right? Yeah, no, okay, I see the... oh yeah, it's just right here. This is the last one. Now, I don't completely remember what the boss of this level is. I want to say it's Spider-Raticus, but I can't remember for sure. Yep, it's Spider-Raticus, which is the... I like to imagine that they came up with this name because maybe one of the developers or one of the maybe English translators had a spider named Atticus, and then they just combined the words and said, hey, that sounds cool, let's make it the name of this boss. It makes me wonder if there's any weird play on words for the Japanese name. Now, after a level like that, I am thankful that this boss is incredibly easy. It is one of the easier bosses. Because all you do is wait for it to suck you in, and it just brings you right to its weak point. Kind of a cool fight, but also a really basic fight. In this case, I don't really feel like the fight gets any harder as it progresses. I feel like it pretty much stays the same. You gotta love the Nintendo boss fights where the weak point is something ridiculously obvious. Sometimes it's a humongous eye. Sometimes it's a big X on their back. Sometimes it's big glowing boils. I guess this is sort of like the beanstalk dome that I dreamed about. It's not exactly the same. But come to think of it, this spider web that you can barely jump on, because you just keep sticking into it, and that's the reason you can't just go into the boss. Like, you can't just jump onto its back from the spider web. I think I designed some of my old player's guides around the idea of spider webs that keep you from jumping. It's still an idea that I could use. These waterfalls sort of look like the spider web. I wonder if it uses the same model or not. Look at you and your orange forehead. I really don't know why it's orange. I don't know if that's supposed to look like a shadow, or if it's like occlusion from his hat. But, this video has gone on for a while, but I still have to beat the other boss. But I guess it can't be helped. I could save it for the beginning of the next video, but I want to keep things consistent, so I'm not going to do that. Let's hop on the wonderful little leaves. Oh, but first, gotta chill in this lava that doesn't hurt you. Which reminds me of, I went to some store in the mall once, a long time ago, that had this fake fire that looked incredibly realistic, but it was just some cloths that were getting blown upwards. I'm amazed by how realistic it was. I thought it was a real fire at first. I think it must have had some special lighting behind it or something. This is Red Brief J, which is noteworthy for me because I knew about this boss from the instruction booklet before I got here. And it's really weird because there's a page in the instruction booklet for the game's various enemies. Like, it's specifically a page for enemies. Oh, wait. Crap, I forgot how to beat the boss. That's what I was supposed to do. You have to be in the middle so that you don't get hit by the lava, and then you ground pound. But yeah, it's a page for enemies. It specifically says it's for the enemies. And it lists off 3 normal enemies, then it lists off the Spritelings, which the reason that they're on the page is because they're your enemies' enemies, which is a stupid reason. And then it just has this guy. There's only 5 things on the page. There's 3 regular enemies, the Spritelings, and this boss. Why this boss? It's not even... It's not the first boss of the game. It's just some random boss in World 3. I don't get it. Maybe they just wanted to make fun of his name, because I'm pretty sure they make a joke about his name. Something about how Red Brief J is... That shouldn't be the name of the boss. Maybe that's the name of what he's wearing, or something like that. I like the scenery here. I like the big lava world surrounded by a snowy mountain. It's always fun to see that in a game. Such as in Hailfire Peaks, or Freeze Flame Galaxy, or the Ice Palace in A Link Between Worlds. Which is perhaps my favorite level from that game, even though the Ice Palace in A Link to the Past is my least favorite Zelda dungeon that I've ever beaten. I hate that place. I hate it so much. Yes, we get it, Ballerina Man. You can stop now. It's very ineffectual. I do like this boss, though. I think the fact that you have to stomp down on the arena in that way, and the fact that it matters where you're standing is clever. All these boss fights are a little bit of a puzzle. A puzzle. I don't know why I didn't enunciate any of my letters there. Yes, this boss fight is a puddle. Okay, anytime you want to do your charging move again, that would be great. You have to do it again, and again, and one more time, and possibly 2 more times. Yeah, I guess it resets his cycle after you fail it the first time. A little bit formulaic, but still fun. And then he just backwards planks into the floor, I guess. He just went stiff in the most awkwardly straight way. Like Ganon at the end of Ocarina of Time. Whenever he slowly falls forward before the tower starts collapsing. Good times. World 4. It's gonna be a fun one. It is a most bizarre world. Well, the first level of it is. Second one not so much, but the second one's a fun level and it's pretty big and kinda complicated. But also possibly my favorite level. It's sort of... If it wasn't for the mini-bosses and battle arenas, it would probably be my favorite. But those really stick a fork in the game, or something. So next time, sand. Except not really sand, it's gonna be mirrors. Except I think mirrors might actually be made of sand? Is that right? Never mind. Just, I give up. Bye.